listening to Digital Divide with Perilous Penny. And that was Sinead O'Connor. What a loss to the world. Wonderful singer. Hey, thank you so much for the donations coming in. And particularly like to say, Nonne. I don't know your name. I'm very well here. Nonne from Garberville. Thank you so much. And everyone else, anonymous, appreciate your donation. And wow, looks like we're going to have some fun in Studio B. There's a whole bunch of, I think, random players. So looking forward to seeing whatever's going to happen. Maybe they'll even talk early. Who knows? Anyway, here's a little bit of jungle. My show's almost over. This is Perilous Penny with Digital Divide. Trying to raise some money. Just give me just 707-923-3911. I see something I know really well in there. Agnes. Hey, Agnes. Hey, donate. Hey, Agnes.
Oh, someone's calling you.
I am. I'm calling you, Agnes. I'm saying, hello, Agnes.
Hi. Love the music. Was that Lindsay Quincy Johnson?
No, yeah. Linton Quincy Johnson, my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just saw you there, and it's almost the end of my show. And it just.
Oh, no, I heard him, and I went, oh, my God, that's got to be Penny. And I've seen him, I think, 3 times now, in concert. And, I mean, he's just a genius.
I know. I love it. Looks like something going to happen in there. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys. I just wanted you to throw out a quick pitch for people to donate to KMUD. You're old school.
Oh, yes. Well, we're all here for Random People Theater, which is a community event.
Brilliant.
And all these incredible community events, people know about them because they hear it on KMUD.
And thank for your pie earlier. I heard about that.
Oh, it went. I heard.
It went. Your pie went. Thanks, Agnes, for all your help.
I made 2. I said, I'm making a pie for KMUD. And
nice.
I made a second one for my husband and son. And they both went, no, take that into KMUD. Help KMUD out.
Yeah, so. I got here too late for that. But anyway, I'm going to finish. You guys will be on the air soon. And thanks a lot, everyone. And you can donate and give us a call at 707-923-3911. Here's a bit more jungle. You've been listening to Digital Divide with Perilous Penny. Almost the end of the show. Here's another fun track before the next crew come in.
Get this party started on a Saturday night. Everybody's waiting for me to arrive. I got lots of style, check my gold diamond rings. I can go for miles if you know what I mean. Flashy in my Mercedes Benz. I got lots of style. Check my gold diamond.
All right. This is the end of my show. There's a party starting. There's lots of people here, so it's going to be great. I just want to let folks know that support for KMUD comes from Soham Health in Garberville with the same or next day clinic appointments often available, and lab and radiology services 7 days a week. You won't have to take off work for lab tests. Other services include mammograms, CT scans, and the only 24/7 ER in Soham, Southern Humboldt County. Visit sohamhealth.org or call 707-923-3921. 707-923-3921 to learn more. It is almost 5 o'clock, so I'm just going to let you know this is Redwood Community Radio, KMUD, Garberville 91.1 FM and HD1, KMUE, Eureka 88.1 FM and HD1, and KLAI, Laytonville 90.3 FM, and on the web at kmud.org. I'm not sure who's engineering, so I'm going to keep playing the music till someone takes over, or I'll just put them on. I don't really care, either way.
This party started right now.
You got to tune to KMUD, Garberville, 91.1 FM and HD1. KMUE, Eureka, 88.1 FM and HD1. KLAI, Laytonville, 90.3 FM. We're on World Wide Web at KMUD.org and out in Shelter Cove at K258BQ 99.5. It's time for Public Affairs. We're going to have Randomonium folks coming at you in just a moment.
Randomonium tonight, something with rain for
Cue me on the fade out.
friends to tell, something for everyone. Randomonium tonight, video program now, we'll show you how COVID-19 has caused such a row. Something with liars, computers, space flyers, will not try to save the earth.
Would be stuck in your head real quick.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
We got
Hello.
a whole cast of us over here.
Yeah, so this is Public Affairs. By way of introduction, I'm one of the producers of the Randomonium show this year. And in my ever pursuit of marketing of the show, I was popping in the station, and I am actually a KMUD programmer as well. And I realized, well, it's KMUD Pledge Week and or fundraising week, and we want to do a promo. And I thought, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of KMUD people that are in the show this year and in past shows. And I thought, what a confluence, cross-pollination sort of situation. And it got me thinking more about just culture in general.
Community creative arts, like the powerhouse of Southern Humboldt is the Playhouse and KMUD and Mateel, yeah.
And the culture is so much more than just what we choose to smoke or what music we listen to. It's about people doing things together.
Right.
We should probably all introduce ourselves.
Yeah. So I'm Josh Golden, and we're going to go around and describe a little about ourselves here. I first listened to KMUD when I moved up to the area in 1989. I hooked up my solar panel to the radio, and I didn't know anybody. Dialed in KMUD. I listened to Ed Denson's show, I think, first. Uh-huh. And quickly got hooked on the talk shows, right? There was Rick Thorngate and Rick Cooper and Paul Ensmer, of course, and I ended up inheriting his show a few years ago when he passed. Little did I know he was my neighbor at the time, but KMUD was the confluence of events. But this whole event makes me think of from the early 90s, the Life and Times newspaper, and how affectionately people were referred to as the Geek of the Week because the cover of that paper featured two community members and their little biography, life story, and it's really how you get to know who's in the community. We don't have that kind of thing happening anymore. So in that respect, we've got a room full of people, some old-timer types, some newcomer types, some dyed-in-the-wool locals, and let's get it going here. Tell us something, your name and what you do.
Hello, my name is Galen Latsko, and I generally antagonize and irritate my fellow cast members as much as possible.
All right.
You're born and raised here, right?
Yes, I was born and raised here in beautiful southern Humboldt County, and this is the Playhouse is a place that I used to go to school there and terrorize teachers instead of directors and castmates.
And you're also a KMUD programmer.
I wouldn't go so far as programming.
Well,
they had me talk in the morning,
yes,
and then they kept interrupting me. So,
and you also have offered computer instruction.
Yes, I work at Emerald Technologies in town, a subsidiary of Garth Incorporated, a fellow KMUD luminary, and I teach classes at the library on Wednesdays at 5 to 6 in Garberville, and we'll be starting a senior center class here too. So I wear many hats.
That's called culture.
Yeah. Oh, God, let's not get carried away.
Let's see. We're going clockwise. I'm Shaka.
No, you're not.
Some long time of being a local. I was Garberville born, Gummy Bear haver now. And some would know son of Shyla, who's been a KMUD programmer longer than I've been around a bit. It's approximately, yeah. She's been in the community before me, and then up in Arcata taking Arcata taking some HSU courses around the old KHSU
R.I.P.
airing days. Yeah, she got away with the late night boundary pushing shows. She would brag to me for years that most of the rules that they ended up developing there were specifically made as in like don't do what Shyla did. And it's all some pretty cool stuff, like anyway, bunch of producing and whatnot. But then I got my start with the Environment News Service here at the MUD, and that was when I was like 11, 12, 13, etc. And it was kind of a weekly read through environmental news kind of thing. And I've always stuck around doing either some schooling or some community work or something at the Mateel.
And the latest at the Mateel was?
Latest at the Mateel, right. Bada Bing Burlesque and Snack Attack the other week. Got my first chance to very purposefully dance in a long while.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. To shirtlessly dance as well.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and it's a good time. You get to wear sunglasses indoors at night. It's a good situation, and then you solve problems behind the set. So like, mermaids need more duct tape, or like this carabiner must be fiddled with.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, and so yeah, I keep busy enough. And then I also do some programming on Friday nights with me ma, Winging a Prayer, where we push some boundaries and talk some global politique and comedy and stuff like that, and play music most importantly.
Hi, I'm Agnes, and if you haven't heard me on the radio, I don't know where you've been. I was one of the original KMUDers. Actually, when we went on air, 5 watts before we actually went full on air, I was on air then, and I've been doing native programming, Heart of the Earth, every Wednesday morning, and then the World Beat Show. I did that. I started that 2 years after KMUD went on air when Jimmy Durzlag, he had been doing it, and then he went to work for Music for Little People, and that opened up, and I was like, yeah. And so that's my, radio experience, and I ran the KMUD press tent, and I've just interviewed so many incredible people at the radio station, and that's just the joy, for a lot of programmers of just getting to interview people and talk with people. And I mean, I could, Ola Tunji before he died, Mary McCabe, Hugh Masekela, just incredible legends. And it was because of my work here at KMUD.
And you've been a random people for a long time too.
I've done every one but 2, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't do it last year because I had surgery, and then the first one I didn't do. But after that, I was been very involved. I've been, I was a theater major in college, so this was a lot of fun. And I had, I had been doing. I left Hollywood because I couldn't. It was just incredible, and you had to sell your soul and you had to sell your body, and which neither I could do. But when I turned 50, I started doing it again in San Francisco. So I was doing a lot of independent film and stuff. But it was. Film and theater is just so different, and so I just wanted to get back to theater, and so Random People was, right there, the doors open, and we love everybody. Like Katie's here; it's her first time, and it's just, and her daughter from Recycle Youth convinced her, but and so we just opened the door, and I love, it's like I'm doing this year a piece with Marilyn. And she's been doing theater forever. Her and I, and then we have a young man that's the first time on stage, and I was walking with him the other day, and he said, "Well, my girlfriend," she said, "I'm working with the legends," and I said, "Hey, we're all legends here." I said, "Don't, we're here to help you in any way. We're all equal on that stage. There's no one. This one's better, that one's better, or whatever. We're all equal, and we love to share that knowledge and make everyone feel comfortable." And it's, Random People's just a lot of fun, and, people write their scripts, and, and other people direct, and it's a lot of fun, and we sure hope that you all come out and enjoy that fun with us.
Right, you've been actor, director, and writer.
Oh, yes, I've written, I've directed, and I've do acting, and Marilyn Foote and I have actually done a handful of pieces together at Random People, so it was so much fun to get to work with her again this year with a great piece that Leah Randolph wrote, and so come out.
My name's Emily Totten. I am an avid KMUD listener. I'm actually not a programmer right now, but back when I was in high school, I was on the youth and radio rotation, so which I love to hear on Saturdays. I hear Uma, Katie's daughter. And I love Digital Divide, who was right before this, too. Penny, I love the music she plays, and I just like to listen to her talk because she has such a nice voice.
Right.
And this year, I have written a piece in the play. I'm directing that piece, and I'm co-directing with Susan Alexander again, which I did last year. It's really fun to work with her. And I'm a producer, and have the tiniest little part in the same piece Agnes is in. Tiniest little part.
Well, in the wider cultural milieu, you're also a firefighter.
Yeah.
And so that's an important aspect of community.
Done some sweet musical stage work here at the station and around the towns I've seen before.
Yes, I also make giant bubbles. I know that at the KMUD block party I'm on.
Nice.
On the vocal patrol.
Yes.
She has this little tiny part in our piece, but she gets me off stage, and that's a big thing.
That's hard to do.
But yeah, that's pretty much my intro.
Yeah.
Born and raised here, right?
Yeah.
I'm Andy Caffrey. I got into radio in Berkeley at Pacifica in 1987 when I worked with a guy named Will Nofke, who was one of the people who started New Dimensions Radio, which you can still hear on KMUD. And I came up here a year later to work on Earth First campaigns, specifically to save Headwaters Forest, and I got deeply involved in shooting video of not just the actions that people did, but also the culture, the music, the warrior poetry, the rants. And that's something I've now brought over to the Redwood Playhouse. Last year I got involved in acting for the first time in my life. I played a homeless kind of, I don't know, maybe he was God? Was he God? Prophet? Yeah, named Moses. And I'm back this time. I'm playing an old retiring pot farmer. But I've been my first KMUD work was in 1989. I substituted for Daryl Cherney on the Environment Show, and I played a whole bunch of different Earth First musicians. And later on, when I got my own show, I did a show called Rockin' in the Tree World as DJ Gandy. Did that for a few years, and then I did some documentary public affairs stuff for homelessness and on the climate, mostly. Now I'm on the board of the Redwood Playhouse, and I run the YouTube channel, and I really want to encourage you to check out and subscribe to the Redwood Playhouse not Random People, but the Redwood Playhouse YouTube channel, where you will see over the next few weeks almost all of the videos of all of the plays performed by Random People and Recycled Youth and Pure Schmint and some other things since 2006.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I am blown away at how great these things are. The thing that is so exciting to me about being a part of this is that it is so much our culture. Everything about it is from here.
Yeah, it's all uniquely written and like locally sourced as you can get anything.
Yeah, I just presumed that community theater meant, all these people like to do, amateurs who do classic plays. No, that's not what this is about at all. These are the most idiosyncratic plays you can imagine. And if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see that I've got playlists for just the comedies, just the monologues, just the dramas, and I'm about to start one for just the weed plays and just the ecology plays. So anyways, I'm delighted to be here, and I'm also looking for people who want to volunteer to videotape the performances weekend after this one. And I'll give you my phone number now so you can start to think about getting a pencil. And at the end of the show, give me a call at area code 213-842-3082. Thanks.
Righto, Andy.
I do have to mention that the videos are really cool. It's worth going and revisiting. And I've watched a couple, one with you and Marilyn, like you mentioned. And whether I've had seen them before, some of them I had seen before, but now I just have different eyes. And the ones that I had missed, it's really fun. It's kind of an easy way to kill time in the evening.
And a lot of local content that's surprisingly thoroughly baked and sort of
Is that really that surprising?
We have one more person.
Okay, hi, I'm Katie. You probably know me, Katie, Jazz Lady. I'm an engineer here on KMUD, but this is my first time here with the crew. Joined, yes, I was encouraged by my daughter who does Recycled Youth to, join the thespians, and it's been super fun. It's been a really unique process, learning my role. I'm in a piece called The Strange Case of Being Here, and it's a really unusual, kind of surreal play, kind of like maybe a Twilight Zone kind of story. And so it's been extra, just unraveling that and learning my role for that. And it's been great working with Emily and Susan. I feel really honored with that. And as far as, tying it to KMUD and my community, I do Sunday night Lester Leaps In, which was an original KMUD show from Les Sure. So I'm really honored to be carrying the torch for Les, and I try to always keep that in mind with my show, because I listened to him for years and years and really developed my own love of jazz music by listening to his show. So it's just great. This community is amazing. It's like hard to imagine ever leaving or somewhere else, anything. We're just also amazing.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah. I've had two mess ups on KMUD that I laugh about, and one of them I used to come right before Les, and he would always just come in right at the last minute, or I would be playing his theme song. But Belle had come in. It was during the fundraiser, and she started telling me about how the next Sunday she was making all the food, and she was going to make all this Jewish food for Les. And I always introduced the show. Now it's time for Lester Leaps In with 2 hours of jazz. And I don't know why, I looked at him and I said, now it's time for Lester Leaps In with 2 hours of Jews. And Les goes, did you say Jew? I go, oh my God.
No. That's a good one. That's a famously good slip up.
And then my other one was Heart of the Earth, and when they were having that oak tree disease, and I was reading the story, and I meant to, I was reading it, instead of saying it, it came from some kind of organism, I said it came from an orgasm.
Yeah.
Well, didn't everything? And
right, yeah.
It's
monkeys, now it's trees.
Difference.
It was an old man that called me up to. He goes, "Ma'am, I think you're saying the wrong."
So,
haven't you brought those lines into Random People plays?
Oh, some of them.
So there was mention of both Recycled Youth and Redwood Playhouse. Full disclosure, I am currently the president of the board of the Redwood Playhouse. And we're sort of nurturing recycled youth. So I get to participate in recycled youth by helping out and see the flow of kids going through over the years. And Uma, your daughter, is a star, rising star, and I happened to be at the Mateel. They were rehearsing at the Mateel yesterday. I was picking some stuff up for the show. And
the Mateel or Redwood Playhouse?
I was at the Mateel picking stuff up. It was old stage flats from recycled youth that have been back and forth. I've painted on dozens of times. But there was they were just gathering for recycled youth, and there's a whole new crew of kids I didn't recognize. They looked at me and said, "Who are you?" And it was like, okay, the next batch are coming through.
Yeah, actually, I have to mention one of the recycled youth seniors, I think, Chloe Reed. She's also in our Randomonium play this year, and that's really exciting.
There has been some crossovers there that sort of
I think like this year, Daniel, who used to be in recycled youth, and Hardy. Huh?
Young Daniel.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember one of those early videos. One of your sisters was involved, and
I did recycled youth.
Yeah, you were doing recycled youth. So I mean, this is. The culture also translates into transmission of history and tradition, right?
Well, I've been really lucky because I have photographed recycled youth for probably, almost near, the beginning, and all of Random People and all the programs that go on. So, man, I've just seen all the growth. It's just incredible.
And we're keeping the creative arts sector open in the whole county. I mean, with the combined sort of art studios of the Mateel, KMUD, and the Playhouse now stepping in, and evidently with some like persistence too, because the future hospital plan isn't actually uprooting having a playhouse there as of
the hospital district recognizes the value of that place. One of the executives there, Kent, sitting in the room, said, "Yeah, I went to school here." He's got memories, But they definitely are supportive of the whole concept of a public place like that. And in my mind, it sort of transcends the concept of real estate. I mean, this is beyond real estate. Yeah. This was a building that was built by the Public Works Administration in 1939 for public use as a school, purchased by a public agency, the College of the Redwoods, for use as a public school, and then purchased by the local nonprofit health what do you call it? No, it's not the foundation. It's the Southern Humboldt Community Health District, which has an elected body of directors, and it's a public agency. Yeah. So it's like, how many times do tax-funded agencies have to buy the same building? I think we've got it paid for, and the community owns it, right?
Yeah. Community. Are you sure about the? All right. If we just keep moving it around, it'll look busy enough.
Right. So we should talk about the show a little bit, but let's open. Dennis, do you want to play one of those clips just to introduce the concept?
What's the matter, son? You look down.
Gee, Dad, I'm bored. There's nothing to do this April 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Don't worry, Timmy. That's the weekend of the Random People Theatre Company's annual production at the Redwood Playhouse in Garberville.
Why are you in my home?
This year's Randomonium includes 8 short plays, all written, produced, and directed by people you know right here in southern Humboldt County. And don't worry, Dad. Doors open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7 p.m., so Timmy should be home by 9:30 at the
that's
latest.
A little late for this old goat. Aren't they doing 2 matinees this year?
That's right, old man. Our studies indicate that 2 o'clock matinees with doors at 1:30 on Saturday the 6th and Sunday the 7th are 67.3% more likely to get old hippies out of the house. Don't miss this year's Randomonium, April 5th and 6th at 7 p.m. And now with 2 o'clock matinees on the 6th and 7th at the Redwood Playhouse in Garberville.
So, that explains it, doesn't it?
So convenient. So convenient.
Do we get paid for that yet?
Working on the back end.
Yeah, no, I've got a grant in the works that if it comes through, we all get a little something, but you never know.
Something clause. Everybody gets a little something, maybe.
I think we all just get a more than anything, just the good feeling you have of, sharing and being on the stage and having your community out there laughing with you and crying with you and clapping for you, and that, I think that's the biggest gift.
Well, having something to work together with other people for, that's it gets to be both you get to build up anxiety for it, but you don't have to like build up quite so much as like you're not, I don't know, racing.
You get to share the anxiety.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
A little bit of shared anxiety, and then you have your last week where we're there every day, and starting to like collude around,
really build that anxiety,
pool the creative groups into one organism.
So those
Are you having anxiety, Katie? You're the
For those who are unaware of what this process is, the Random People Theater Project has been around since 2006, I believe. And what we do is in the summer, there's writing workshops, and we invite anybody who has any interest in writing a script, experienced or not, to come and participate and work on some scripts.
It started off as monologues, just
it started,
monologues.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then I think it was Al or someone said, "No, wait a minute here."
Yeah, and now it's pretty much anything goes.
And you're lucky. We do have one monologue.
Yeah, actually, this year we've got a monologue that's being performed by the writer, which is always
it's a great piece.
Yeah.
So then, after we've kind of worked on scripts, those who feel like they've got a finished script submitted, and we take a look at it and try to arrange a reasonable length of a show and select scripts. And then the way we've been doing it is directors are those who have directed in the past or who have mentored under a director previously, so that there's a little experience in their transmission of experience. And we have auditions, and people get cast in January. And because everybody's got a life and busy and everything, the way it works is each of our short scripts, directors and actors arrange rehearsals on their own, so not everybody has to be in the same place at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then we had a couple of run-throughs where everybody shows up. And then starting next week, it's going to be full-on, everybody's there and getting their costumes together and trying to...
Hell Week.
Yeah, affectionately known as Hell Week, where we hone all the technical aspects of the lighting and the sound cues and final rehearsals. And then next weekend after this, it's showtime.
Friday at 7, Saturday at 7, and then Saturday and Sunday at 2. Doors a half hour earlier than that. You don't want to get there
5th,
at 7.
6th, and 7th.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it. It's coming quick.
Nothing go wrong. A few years ago, I was in a piece, and I was supposed to be using a cell phone, and I go, Siri, from the stage, and Jenny Edwards' telephone or her iPad all the way in the back of the stage heard it, and Siri starts answering it.
Yeah, we were joking about that.
Without even auditioning? My God.
We joked about that. We got some Bluetooth mics and thought, what if everybody in the audience starts pairing with the Bluetooth?
Yeah, it's a new age of tech.
Yeah, we have a piece. Oshaka's in that piece this year. Kind of about that.
Yeah. There's usually some good coverage of concepts, but yeah, the tech piece is pretty fun. The one that got away.
Is that the one with the artificial intelligence?
The artificial intelligence, the presentation by the game's sort of developer, and then I'm just a dude, just a bro hanging out, being chill with my
don't
roommate
let them
there.
tell you that.
Well, we always remind people to shut off their cell phones or put it on airplane mode during the show.
So I actually advise leaving them off after the show and never turning them back on. Personally,
well, you can remind them to turn them back on.
They have to raise their seat back chairs as well.
Yes.
So, the idea of live theater, if you're not a live theater fan or you haven't been to a lot of plays, you got to try it because it's a unique experience. It's never the same twice. Mm-hmm. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, it's sort of like watching the crashes at a race, I guess. But you never know what could happen.
A live performance. I mean, I'm just so, live performance for me over a movie or, something.
Right.
It's just.
And if you look away, you miss it.
Yeah.
If
and
you're not there, you didn't see it.
I sat last Saturday night at the Mateel. I mean, my gosh. I mean, there was a great movie that started it, a cult classic, but that burlesque afterwards, wow.
Well, I have to say, the audience is a huge part of the piece. Like, we all work really hard for 2 months to put on this piece for the audience, but if the audience doesn't show up, then we're missing that very important player in the thing. And we, as actors on stage, are being fueled by the interest that the audience
The
is giving
reactions,
us.
yeah.
And
We
so-
want your attention.
Yes, can we have
now.
your attention, please?
Adulation, laughter.
I mean, I always say, even with rehearsal, Leah will go down, bring a little more. I go, when there's an audience out there, I do much better. You just come to life when you're on that stage.
It's
And
a lot of energy. You have to manage it because it's very easy to get a little too amped up, and you start speaking a little fast, and you're going through your lines, and you're like, finding the medium amount is interesting too, because you've still got more energy to go on than when it's just an empty room. Like there's almost something intrinsic to, hold on a second, whole bunch of people are hearing this. I gotta.
If I screw up now, someone's going to notice.
Well, Southern Humboldt has notoriously wonderful audiences.
It's true.
And the Spring Chicken Show that was so amazing that happened just a month or two ago. They had to turn people away at the door multiple times, multiple nights. So
that's why we're doing 2 matinees now.
Right.
We have doubled the matinees, which is a 33% increase in performances.
Great. And it makes for a heck of a day, Saturday. It's going to be an up day for sure.
Get done with one and then have like 2.5 hours to like shake it out and slowly just sort of like put it back on.
Well, when I was in Recycled Youth, they used to bus all the kids over from South Fork, and we would do a day show for all of the high schoolers, and then that evening we would do our normal shows.
Yeah, same. When I was with Jenny and I did drama at the high school, 4 years with Jenny Edwards, and we did a lot of performances, and I think more than once we did 2 in a day. So if you're going to go to all the trouble of getting it ready.
Yeah.
It's no fun to walk away from that last performance being like, that's it. I like to feel like I never want to see these people again. That's the threshold I want to get to.
Be full up on it. I do note, like last time and some of the times it'll be like the only night we have extra seating is the first night, and then people make all the noise about it and come home and are like, oh wow, I went out and saw the theater, they're actually doing something over there. and then it starts to pack up and back up in the next couple of days.
Right.
So.
Yeah, come early and often. That's it.
Well, one of the best compliments I ever got, I did a piece with Ross and with Moss, and it was all about Les Schwab and on the phone and stuff and talking about him. And this lady came up to me and she said, "Oh my gosh!" After we saw that play, when something would go wrong at home, I'd go, "Well, what would Les Schwab do?" And it all came from random people being
So
at that show.
you just mentioned Moss, one of our random alums, beloved random alums who moved up north, and he's been doing plays up north now based on his experience down here.
How could he?
And he's currently doing Shakespeare, which I think is a little.
That's pretty classic.
Yeah, no.
What? Yeah, he's what? Like the combat?
It's 12th night. I'm not sure what his role is, but it's there's
12th night of what?
no, it's or
Oh, sorry.
12th night or which you will. I saw a pidgin English version of 12th Night in Hawaii once called 12th Night or Whatever.
You might be surprised, but we actually have a whole bunch of extraordinary actors. Last year when I was a part of it, I was like gobsmacked. There's like a dozen of these people who I thought they're absolutely brilliant. And last week I told Marilyn Foote that she is my favorite actor, not my favorite local actor, my favorite actor. I like her better than Katharine Hepburn. Okay, so there are some really talented people, and like you were saying, Agnes, you guys have been doing it for a long time. And yes, there's room for novices like me and Katie to come in, but you're going to be really entertained with just the raw talent that we've got here. Plus, these plays are proof that pot adds to creativity.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I
find
just
the
have to say-
insinuation extremely inappropriate.
It's been really fun to work with you, Andy, and I feel like at the beginning of this, because you're in the piece that I wrote, you kind of said you don't really know if you're going to be able to do it or take it on. And I've just watched you bloom over the past 2 months, and I'm really happy with your performance. And it's just fun every rehearsal to watch you on stage. And it's this, I feel the same way with you, Katie, that you stepped into a piece that's pretty dense, or it kind of on paper hard to understand. And you brought that character to life, and it's so fun and bubbly, and yeah, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, no, that is one of the fun things. You know, you read a script and it's dry on paper, and you don't, and it's sort of unrealized. You don't really know what the characters are going to be, and then you throw in people who have their unique characters. And then with the director, you know, with their unique vision of the piece, and it takes on a whole new life. And then you don't really know how it's going to come off until the very end, when all the lighting happens and the effects and the magic. Yeah.
And one of the things, you know, that Andy did this year is we just did a basic run through a few weeks ago, and he recorded it. And so be able to look at that, I mean, the changes we've made, you know, as soon as I said, oh my gosh, and Marilyn saw it and Leah saw it, and I said, oh wait, we should do this. It just opened our vision as to how much improvement we could do. I mean, it was fine the way it was, but just watching that video, you know, a rehearsal video, it really helped all the actors.
Yeah,
but you guys can't see those rehearsal videos. Those are unlisted. They're just for the actors. But you know, the other thing
and the
too.
directors.
Yes, right. The other thing about it too is that the word play is so truthful. I've spent most of my time here since 1988 involved in activism of one sort or another. And of course, you know, I ran for Congress for a while. But I got involved in this, and I thought, oh my God, I can't remember lines. You know, you think everyone is going to compare you to the best actors they've ever seen, and who hasn't seen all the great actors? And it's just not like that at all. It's so supportive. Everyone is like so. I don't know how is it you guys are just, you take it easy so much, especially the producers. You guys are like, you know, responsible for the whole thing, but it is so much fun. And I never thought about doing acting because I thought I could not memorize lines. And then it just, when you get into the process, it just after 2 months, they're sort of there. Right. You don't have to worry about it too much. So when you go on stage, you aren't really remembering your lines. You're just sort of being the lines. Right. And it's a really transformational experience, and it's also a concentration of consciousness. And there's so much chaos in the world, and all these different news stories and all this stuff. And with this, there's a certain purity when you witness these plays, because the writers and the actors and the directors have all spent their weeks concentrating more and more to make the thing happen. And it's a very beautiful thing.
It's basically as old as our civilization, if you want to go back, you know, and, you know, be, Western focused and think about the Greeks. That's
hey,
where
Dennis,
a lot of it comes from.
Is there someone out there answering the phones? Okay.
Yeah.
Because we
now that we wet your whistle.
Answering your phone calls.
Okay. Well, no,
Oh my God, is that Kate's baby?
Oh, there's Dora would answer the phone because we actually, you know, this is KMUD. It's our fund drive, and we want to give away a pair of tickets to random people. How much did we want? A regular subscription? Yeah, a regular subscription.
Should we do 2 regular subscriptions, a ticket each, or what do you think?
It sounds like a fair enough split we can make.
Yeah, so
I'll say yes without knowing what we're talking about.
So if somebody wants a ticket or a pair of tickets, give us a call at 707-923-3911 and pledge your support to KMUD, and you get to, you know, hear and see us all at the Redwood Playhouse.
And the way that would work is we'll get your name and expect you at the door.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Doro's here, so she can answer the phone. So all you listening, and we've got you're drooling. I've got to go see this, and you got to help KMUD. So this is your moment.
Yeah.
And think about how long it's been since you heard a pledge drive announcement. I mean, 38 minutes?
We're giving you all this time. But
peace isn't free, you know.
But theater, it's my experience in theater has been interesting in that. For one, you think
tell us more.
Memorizing the lines is going to be just a feat, and then it starts to actually sink in. Unlike film and things, which I still don't have much experience with, but you actually get enough time to where it starts to become like the memory is ingrained with the movement and the expression and whatnot, but you get used to doing something that's outside of your usual well enough. And communication is one of those just overwhelming things. Communication, interacting with other people,
I don't follow.
All right. Well, it has something to do with doing a performed an act of a play where you have to interact with people. And you
I had to direct him in a Shakespeare piece.
And it was, but then you have to, or you actually get the time to work on your communication and your, the messaging. You reform it and you refine, don't step on their next line. I should not, be dumb during this next
interaction.
There's
all the subtle, non-verbal things about communication, the way we just jump in front of each other and cut each other off and say things,
but doing that intentionally
with gestures, with gesticulations.
Well, last year, Shaka, you came to a couple of them, but did a couple improv workshops.
Yeah,
and even in rehearsal, I know Andy and Katie could speak to this. We've played a lot of games, especially in the beginning, but I feel like that helps so much. Just playing games, it builds a lot of energy. It does create connection between all of the different cast members, and it can kind of get you a head start into the process.
And a bit nice and outside of your own head, too, because otherwise, what do you have to interact with other people for? Huh? Your job? On the side of that, maybe volunteering.
My brain.
Yeah, your brain, but you
God
try to
help
apply
me.
that to other people, and sometimes it doesn't stick. You take your brain and other brains, and you give them the same cause.
And especially these days with the decline of our local scene around here, there used to be, I used to spend a lot of time in town. I had a shop in town in the early 90s and had a lot of time in town, and there was a lot of stuff going on and always meeting people and running into people, and the opportunities to do that are fewer and fewer now.
Well, I just kind of feel like we're, coming full circle because, being here in the late 70s and the early 80s, I mean, all there was us and our creativity.
Right.
And just as I was telling Mumsy yesterday, there's just not much difference between our local musicians and would you go pay a lot of money for someone that was lucky enough to get a record contract or whatever, and that's what we have is each other.
Oh, yeah.
And more people, more neighborhoods are now going back to having the potluck, for the weekend, the neighbors getting together because no one's worried about seeing each other's pot or whatever, There's 6 plants are proud
Wait a
to
minute.
show.
You mean we're going from being rich people to being a rich society?
And when I mentioned Emily's a firefighter, I also forgot to mention there's also a musician.
Oh, yes.
Galen plays little music, writes things.
Oh, God.
I mean, the kind of, the term cultural creative comes to mind. There's a term, cultural creatives, for people who are involved in creating culture.
Well, I'm absolutely tone deaf, and Al actually got me to sing when we did the Resonairs or whatever that was.
I'm going to get you to sing too, darling. Don't you worry.
No, I'm always kind of like moving my mouth. Looks like I'm singing.
Just hum with the words, get there.
Yes, Galen's got anticipation for the coming overture, or what's it called?
It's a finale.
A finale.
We
got a finale. Okay.
Because afterwards we get to go home.
Must be celebrated. Well, except for Saturday, where we will celebrate that we get to stay.
Shaka and Galen, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you guys do, because last year the opening play was one you guys did, and it's so freaking crazy. I mean, it's manic, it's tight. I told you during rehearsals that I wanted a copy of the script because I wanted to catch each word that you were saying. The stuff is very precise, and you did this sword fight, and it's almost like dancing. Maybe that's what you were doing last night or Saturday. A sword fight dance.
That's a different kind of sword fight, Andy.
But I'm actually the writer of both of those pieces. And the year before, there was The Cave, which I didn't act in, but did write for. And then I think Moss directed. And
I don't write. I just pick apart other people's writing and nag people and superimpose my will over things.
He's been excellent to have.
It's called
on
an editor. It's a wonderful job.
Yeah, the in-house Shakespeare expert actually is how I've been using him, and you know.
It means I know what the word soliloquy means.
Yes.
That's about it. Let's not get
well,
carried
the year we had that was kind of a takeoff on Shakespeare, and nobody wanted to direct it. Shakespeare, no. And I just went, I just looked around. I said, okay, I'll do it. And then I said, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But Shaka did such an incredible job.
That was my first year with the Random People, the chef of Avon.
Yeah, that was
a very fun one.
I kind of grew up with Shakespeare. My grandma used to make me read plays with her when I was like 9, and then my folks would drag me up to Oregon, where I would go to see the Ashland, the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, which is, a very alternatively minded theater. You had your Prince Hal riding on stage on a motorcycle with a Burger King crown. You had Coriolanus rappelling down the wall of the Elizabethan theater. They did a lot of very cool, sort of crazy things with what is normally, pretty codified static material.
Yeah, Ashland was an early experience for me too. Several field trips where there was one, I think we were in town for 5 days and saw 6 plays.
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff there. I actually got in trouble on a school trip there.
Yeah, that comes with that.
Sorry, Jenny.
I'd like to encourage a lot of you to come to the first couple of plays, because I think a lot of you are going to want to come back and see a second performance.
There you go.
So don't wait until the Sunday matinee to show up. I, in editing the video from last year, I've watched these plays probably 30 times.
Right, more than anybody.
And not to say you should just ignore the play and watch it on TV. I would not want you to do that.
No.
But there is a lot of depth, and a play is normally written and performed for a one-time experience, unlike a movie or a TV show. But there is a lot to it that you can enjoy afterward.
Right. The first time I did Random People, I had written a monologue about a woman's experience in boarding school, and this was 2008 maybe I did it. And everyone just thought I was crazy. Like, what are you talking about? No one had really heard about the boarding school experience. So then a couple of years ago, I revised it and rewrote it and did it again because people were aware of that situation. So while there's a lot of comedy, there's also, a lot of... just awareness that comes through. And I know for a handful of years, we would, instead of having just all these different strange plays, we'd have a theme like it happened at an airport or it happened at a park. Where I think a hospital was one of them too.
Yeah. Was there a hotel?
Hotel.
There was a hotel one too. Right. Yeah. And so it was great because in the park one, I wrote a monologue about this woman that was wanted to get the land back to her people, her native people wanted the land back, and that brought a lot of awareness. And that year also I directed, I just felt, I don't know if you've seen that one about with the 4 homeless. It was Jacob, the late Jacob, and Al, and Patricia Martella, and I forgot who and Munson, the late Munson. Oh my gosh, yeah. And each one of them were 4 different homeless people telling their story. Cherie Porter wrote it, and I always just felt like it was just such a powerful piece, and it really spoke from the heart. The experiences that people go through. So, I mean, while there's a lot of laughter, there's also some drama.
Yeah, and writing, the first piece I wrote was, how long ago? 10 years ago or so. My goal was to do a sort of dramatic tragedy sort of thing. And of course, Susan directed it, and she said, no, it's a comedy.
Oh, thanks a lot, Susan.
So it was a poignant comedy. How's that? But it's very difficult. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's easier to write comedy than serious stuff.
I think the one I did, you wrote one. You wrote one that I was in. Me and Carl Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was. It turned out to be kind of both.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about my piece this year. I intended to write a comedy, and I kept telling everybody as we went, I'm like, but don't worry, it's going to be funny.
Didn't happen, did it?
Next weekend, it will determine. I think we'll get some laughs, but it didn't actually come out as comedic as I thought it was.
No, it's hard to evoke to get people crying.
Well, except, why don't you tell them what we did today? we did the Jim Carrey version of our play.
Yeah, the over-the-top run-through, that's kind of a common thing that you do by the time show is coming around. So I said, go as big as you can, and then I kind of had to say partway through, like, remember that the pharmacy's open right now, guys. But it was very fun, and definitely...
You know, I was in the board meeting down the hall. You guys could have been a lot louder. It would have been really
We actually did the same thing with our piece, but when I read it, I mean, to me, it was just the funniest thing, and I thought, gosh, then we did it, and a few people laughed, but they clapped afterwards, so I was really happy. But sometimes it's like people's sense of humor isn't the same as yours.
Every show is different.
It is. It is.
And then we've got 8 short plays with as many directors, just about. So each show is different in a fractally different kaleidoscope of different plays.
And of course, we'll have some refreshments.
Different refreshments.
Spend money on.
So, guys, I'm going to have to go get my gavel and preside over a meeting.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave it to you. And Katie, you speak up a little, too, about your experience, huh?
I have to go, too, and be gavelled over?
Yes, right. Yes.
You guys have fun.
Mm-hmm. They've got...
don't get bored.
Use protection.
Bring them in.
I don't really want to give away the plot of my piece,
Please
but
don't.
as far as what...
I don't know what it's about yet, so...
You didn't see it at the run-through? It's okay. It's okay. You can see it at the show.
He keeps the suspense alive.
But as Andy was saying, he's been putting all of these old productions up on YouTube. And I watched one the other day. It was with Carl and Marilyn and Galen. And it was from 2018, I want to say. And it's kind of surprising because I hadn't seen it until watching it on YouTube. And
was that the Growers one?
It was the Growers one.
I directed that.
You directed it. That's right. You directed it. It said that on there too. But it's almost like a prequel to my piece, or it's kind of interesting to see how these things are written and what kind of statement they're making about what we're going through as a community.
Right.
And my piece is almost like it really truly is 5 years later. And
I mean, I've seen. I got some comments of sort of that kind of a similarity from one of the other writers, or maybe a few of them actually. So my piece last year had a lot to do with the angst and existentialism of writing a thing and making that decision of it's going to be this and whatnot. And that's the what Andy was talking about of my me and Galen's. Act last year. Yeah. What is high trait neuroticism plus creativity?
Like I said, neurosis.
It's also, it feels to me, at least when I've written and the things over the years, it always seems like there's room for more ideas, and that's something I'm hoping to get into more in the future is, writing with a room instead of each individually breaking off and going to our own separate places and bringing ideas piecemeal. So, even if you don't have a whole idea for a script, if there's like some tiny little thing that is funny, that could really make or break something else. And, the more we develop a working relationship together, the more it's going to behoove us to write together. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to get cooking this summer.
I was actually telling a story, I think it was to Carl last year, about, how my husband and I bought this, one of those foam beds, and it got delivered, and you have to do it a certain way. And my husband's deciding he wanted it a different way, and the thing's blowing up on me. And, it was just really funny. And Carl goes, that would make a really good random people story. I said, I don't think we could get an exploding foam bed, but...
With those moments from life that, just everyone can relate to.
And there's really no limits. I'm working on a play now. I'm writing it called When Greta Thunberg Meets Old Jim Morrison. And the basic premise is that Jim Morrison didn't die. He went down to Antarctica to become a scientist. And he's so freaked out about that, he's got to come back and set Greta straight. And then, we're going to perform a whole bunch of Doors songs, too. So. One other thing. We should mention the dress rehearsal.
Kind of.
Or should we not mention the dress rehearsal?
That splits off from mine.
We cannot deny or confirm any rumors of a dress rehearsal. Thank you. Next question.
But it would be the night before the other performances.
Theoretically, if such a thing did exist, who knows where it would be? Possibly,
It definitely costs money, though. So
yeah. So just come to the live one.
Don't
Just
think
come
you're
to
going to
the,
get.
No, it doesn't.
Well, not to us, but to attendees we didn't invite. Yeah, that's the deal. You gotta bribe your way in.
Okay, as an advocate for homeless people, I gotta say,
all right.
that the best time is at the paid performances.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're more invested if you pay money, but if you don't, you don't have to miss out on this, and you don't have to just watch the video. You can come the night before the performance, the paid performances. That's next Thursday at 7:00. Same time as the other evening performances.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Well, it's a good guess. It's a good
Contact
guess.
Andy and he'll tell you afterwards.
Great.
I mean, there is a thing about dress rehearsals being, and I'm not trying to discourage anyone from coming, but they'll say that your dress rehearsal often is pretty blah and mediocre because everything's just kind of coming together. It's your first time doing it all. And then your opening night is just amazing.
So if you're in the audience for the dress rehearsal, please let us know so that we turn it up just for you.
And speaking of my phone number, again, we are looking for 12 people to run the cameras. We do a 3-camera shoot of each of the performances if we have enough people to do it. So if you have any kind of camera experience, you don't have to be a videographer. Even with your smartphone, if you're
you have
pretty good at
thumbs.
it and you can be attentive to a camera, give me a call. I'm Andy, and it's area code 213-842-3082. Thank you.
That's right. And
we should probably reiterate that this show is happening on April 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Indeed.
We are doing evening shows at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. And we are doing 2 matinees this year for all of the people who don't want to drive in the dark, just like my parents. That will be at 2 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. And doors will open about 1:30.
that is very true. That is very true and factual.
Do we need any volunteers for anything
Big
else?
if true.
Yeah.
I think that we're pretty covered.
Yeah, we're covered.
Yeah, we'll just move all the stuff ourselves and we'll get it done. I believe in us, team.
Gonna bake cupcakes.
Nice. We've
And
got
yeah,
We'll make another pie.
Yeah. Agnes needs to make a pie.
I'm sure there's lots of you in the wings who have all kinds of good ideas. We hope to do some improv stuff over the summer, maybe some other things, depending on what turnouts look like.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have an interest sheet for those of you to sign up at the performances, and so we can start to grow this community a little more. Because that's the only thing that worries me is that we're missing somebody's great idea. 'Cause
Not
they
enough
didn't bring
growing.
it to us.
And, you only have to, there's no obligation for you to do it for more than 1 year or something, but please come out and participate at least once. It's really fun, and it's kind of a rare opportunity, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot more pressure if you're in a larger population area. We kind of have a nice deal here where we make it work and figure it out.
Good chance to shake a leg. Some parts are a lot more relaxed than others.
Yes,
you might have, mostly the excuse to come and be part of something, and then the time pressure is, well, you got to memorize these 40 words, and you're going to do these 3 things.
Yeah, like in the piece I'm in this year, I was saying there was a young man that, we're really helping him out. But last year he came and he was just helping on stage. He was helping Terry, the station manager. And this year he actually read for a part. So that was really exciting.
And, he's really helping us out, moving all that stuff and being all tough and actorly and stuff like that.
And if you want to be hip, you really should come. I mean, if you think about it, 4 shows, capacity is about 125. That's 500 people out of a community of 10,000 in the broader area.
Right.
So this is a very popular event that we,
Limited
ritual
edition
we put together every year.
Community theater.
And you should come.
Offer void where prohibited.
With unique.
No one regrets it. I don't think we've ever had a complaint.
Never before seen plays, except for by like us, pretty much. Never before played plays until the weekend after this one. So we'll see you all there, and we're coming right on up to the top here.
Did we have a closing piece?
We might have a closing piece.
Dennis, did Josh leave a closing piece?
I've got another promo.
Okay. Is it 3 minutes, or should we?
No, it's about
it's a quickie.
Okay, so I guess we'll just say goodbye.
Yes. Say goodbye for 1 minute. And then we'll be hitting the top.
And he'll be doing the promo. And then at 6 o'clock, we have our local news, one of the great things we have here at KMUD. Give us a call at 707-923-3911 and, give your support to this community radio station, or go to kmud.org and hit the blue donate button.
And let's hear it out for like the fact that we've got like radio and theater in a, tiny rural area that just happens to be California, but it isn't slacking.
All we need
that.
is a telegraph, and then we'll have like every expired.
We actually had a play where the radio station was K-Bud.
Oh.
Yeah, K-Bud.
Good.
That's right. That's when the Resonettes did their performance. We had our own girl group from Phil Spector type girl group called the Resonettes.
That's really good.
One other question.
Resonator.
People have been asking me if there are going to be advanced ticket sales. Are there?
No, just at the door.
Just at the door.
Okay, Dennis, you can go ahead with the promo.
Yep.
And again, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all the first weekend in April, Friday, Saturday.
Salut. Hello?
Benjamin.
Who?
You?
Oh,
I'm
Joshua.
close enough. Listen, what are you doing the first weekend of April?
You mean Friday the 5th and Saturday the 6th, starting at 7 with doors at 6:30, and matinees on the 6th and 7th at 2 p.m. with doors opening as early as 1:30?
I do mean those times. What are you doing then?
I have no idea.
Well, that's when the theater people thing is.
You mean to tell me to prepare myself to watch 8 short plays written and produced throughout the community, where general admission fees are as affordable as $50 to $20 on a sliding scale?
What? No, I called you to remind you you're in it.
I'm what?
You're in the Random People's production of Randomonium 2024. That's Friday and Saturday, starting at 7, and Saturday, Sunday with 2 o'clock matinees. April 5th, 6th, and 7th.
We're doing 2 matinees?
Yes, Stanley, we're doing 2 matinees. Stanley?